that are just now joining, we are here at Rancho Los Pinos Cantina, freshly done. We have our amazing bartender, aka my dad, and then we got my mom here as well. So during the week, oh mom, you gotta get in the shot over here. Come around. We'll let you come into the back side of the bar. So earlier this week, there were a few questions that were sent in. Just talking about Mexican American culture and how.
Where the borrachos at?
For what?
Where the borrachos at?
Where the borrachos at? You don't need to know that. You're a dad. So one of the questions that we got asked was,
It's his wave right there. Look, right there,
yes,
his wave.
that's somebody waving, fam.
Oh, well, maybe back.
You get better at the next one, okay?
All right, so one of the questions was gender roles. So both of my parents were born in Mexico. Both of them were born in Zacatecas. Both of them were actually born in Jerez. Hey, Richie. So, Dad, we'll ask you first. What do you think? Do you think that girls, like the moms, the women, should be stay-at-home moms, or do you think that they should go to work?
They should go chingarme.
So, go to work?
Yeah.
So you don't think that girls need to be at home todo el tiempo, taking care of the kids and all that?
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
What's the difference? They have to work.
They do have to work. Okay. Mom, what do you think? Do you think that it's the guy's job to work and the girl's job to stay at home?
No, I think it's a team effort.
Think it's a team effort? Okay. So personally, I don't think I was raised to be a stay-at-home mom.
Or a mom.
Or a mom at all.
now.
I don't like kids. No. I definitely
Me neither, I have four.
I think that's exactly what they said, that it should be a team effort, that both of you came here with goals and you wanted to reach those goals, so you both have to work for it.
Yes, it's always important to have goals.
Okay, so that's awesome. Another thing that people wanted to know is, do you think that there's a double standard between men and women?
Hi, Junior.
So, do you think that que se tratan diferente los hombres a las mujeres? And if they do you think that's right? Like que los traten diferente? O sea, que los padres traten diferente a los hijos versus a las hijas.
It all depends.
Well, we don't have any boys. We have 4 girls, so...
And I treat all 5 same way.
4.
Well, and you?
We treat them all the same, yes. I don't know what it would be to have a boy.
But do you think
But
that...
he'd probably be desmadroso, like...
No, es un buen papá. Ustedes saben.
Okay, so do you think that, when you guys were growing up, you had brothers and sisters, do you think the girls were treated differently than the boys?
Yes, my brother was treated a lot differently than I was.
How so?
A lot different. Well, because my brother got to do a whole bunch of stuff. Okay, well, something just happened.
That used to be my horse, FYI. So before we were talking about being treated differently, men versus women in Mexican American culture, you were saying that you were treated way differently than your brother.
Yes, I have 1 brother and 1 sister, and basically my brother could do whatever he wanted because he was a boy. And when I would ask my dad, hey, ¿por qué si lo dejas a él que vaya con sus friends? O ¿por qué a él si lo dejas que haga esto? He would straight out tell me, because he's a boy and you're a girl.
Do you think that you instill different ways of thinking, in your daughters, as far as you can do whatever, it doesn't matter that you're a girl? Or do you think that we still had to go by even though we didn't have any brothers, do you still think that you treated us differently than if you would have had a boy?
Absolutely not. Because I think in the back of my mind, I always remembered from how it was when I was growing up. So I wanted to, for sure, intentionally not do that. I wanted to empower my kids. I wanted them to, go out there and, do what they wanted to do.
Coming from the point of view of your daughter, I definitely think you and dad did that to the max. As far as like, I never felt that I couldn't do something because I was a girl. Like I always challenged a lot of like guy friends that I had. I feel like I would always challenge them and be like, all right, like let's go, let's do it, So I think that definitely you and dad did a good job of like me not feeling like I couldn't do something because I'm a girl, or feeling like I always came second best to like a guy.
Right. No.
So I think you guys did a good job with that. Let's see. Another one of the questions that people asked. So we're very rich in culture. Would you agree?
Agree.
We know a lot about our culture, about our traditions. Both of my parents were raised in the same general area in Mexico. So do you think it is because we are so cultural and so traditional, do you think it's hard for people to marry outside of the culture?
Yes, I think it is very difficult.
Why would you say?
I'm not saying it doesn't work, but I'm just saying it's difficult because if they're not from the same place, it's harder to, it's just harder because the families are different, traditions are different, sometimes food is different. I'm not saying it's impossible, but I think it'll definitely take effort. But yeah, I can totally see there being challenges. I mean, I can only imagine. I am literally from the same place where your dad is from, so we know the same people, we cook the same foods, our families knew each other.
Don't go into detail there.
I won't.
They knew each other very well.
So
very, very well.
Our families were really close, but anyways, so it definitely made it easier, and there was never that question like oh yeah, vamos a ir al rancho, I never felt like, wow, I'm gonna be taken to the strange place. No, not at all, because I love the rancho, because that's where, my mom is from too. So yeah, I mean, again, like I said, it's definitely has its challenges. We have always told our girls that, no, they don't have to marry someone from the rancho. I mean, would it be what I want? Yeah, I think it'd be totally cool. But you know what? It might be very unlikely that that's going to happen. And Ben and I are okay with that. We first of all want our kids to be happy, and I forgot what I was going to say. Yeah, with whomever makes them happy. As long as they, they're happy and they're hardworking and they work together to achieve whatever goals they have, that makes me happy.
I think you guys are just happy I don't want to marry Justin Bieber anymore.
Yes, I'm glad we're over that phase, because Jocelyn used to write everywhere, Jocelyn Bieber, all over her books, everywhere. She used to write Jocelyn Bieber. True story.
I think though, like, I am the oldest of four, and I've been the only one to date so far. And I think personally though, even though you guys have always been so open to like everything and been so supportive, I think just being so cultural does put a kind of like a stigma, or I've only dated.
I was just thinking about you saying that we've been so supportive, and I was just thinking of a time when I was not supportive.
Okay, we're gonna talk about that later. But the only people I've dated are people from Zacatecas, like, that I've legit liked. Yeah. There were people that I dated that I didn't like. No, but it's true. Personally, I think it is a lot easier knowing where that person comes from, what kind of more like values they have, what kind of background they come from. Clearly, though, it hasn't worked out, so maybe that's what's wrong. No, but that's good to know. With that being said, though, there was actually a few people that threw in the question. It was more towards my dad, but since my dad is busy, maybe you can answer. What do you look for in a son-in-law for this daughter?
Well, I mean, there's just so many things. You know, I think Ben and I treat our girls a certain way, and there's no reason why, you know, when they're in a relationship, their boyfriends would treat them bad. Like we've, you know, treated our girls very good. So, you know, I kind of think that if she had someone who was honest, first of all, hardworking, a man of his word. Like you know, if you say you're gonna do something, then do it. That's definitely very important. But you know, love is love, you know? I mean, Ben and I only dated for a month. I really don't know how we...
I thought it was 3 months.
No.
Oh, you sugarcoated that.
No,
shit.
it's a month. I met him in April and we moved in May. Anyways.
Goals.
But I think that yeah, someone that's gonna be faithful, hardworking, honest, I think. But you know, if they make her happy, you know, someone who's goal oriented, that is so important. I can't like emphasize that enough. Goals are so important.
I think that that's one thing that like I definitely am really quick to cut people off in my life is when I see that they don't have any goals or are just kind of like breezing through life. I can't do that. Personally, I work 2 jobs, sometimes 3, and my parents, have definitely seen them set goals, you know, reach their goals and then set more goals. So I definitely think that that's something that like was instilled in me and that I can't like ever see myself with somebody who isn't goal oriented. So yeah,
That's great.
it looks like we have a question. Do you think women in this generation face the same obstacles in culture aspect? And do you believe they face more or less now?
Oh, definitely less. Definitely less, I think. I think we've become more aware and we've become more accepting. Here's just one thing. I remember, now,
Oh, God.
granted,
Shit.
I was married very young, but I remember hearing comments like, when we'd go to the rancho, like people would say like, oh my God, look at those girls drinking. Like they look like guys, like they're drinking. Hey, it's okay. I like to drink. And it's okay for a girl to drink and have fun. Like that was one of the things that always, you know, is in the back of my mind. Like, ay no, que las mujeres no deben de tomar or whatever. Like, no, it's okay. Girls can drink, you know? And I'm married and my husband and I go out and I drink, or I drink here at the house or whatever. But in public too, like it just, you know, it's different. Now, mind you, I still feel a little uncomfortable drinking in front of my dad. Like I can have some drinks, but not like get like, you know.
Oh, I get shit faced with
yeah,
my dad.
there we go. Like shit faced in front of my dad. Like I just, you know, but yeah, I think we used to criticize more back in the day. And I think we've gotten past that probably within the past maybe 2 generations.
I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. I think that they're, depending on how strong your family is about traditions, I feel that me personally, I've broken many I don't want to say rules, but like things that were expected of me. I've definitely changed them up as far as my career choices, my
But do you think it's
personal
because
choices.
we opened up and allowed you to explore those things? Do you think you would have done the same even if me and your dad would have been like, no, you're crazy. You're going to graduate high school or you're gonna go to college, you're not gonna do crazy things, you're not gonna travel by yourself, you're not gonna do all this. Like, do you think we opened up the door for you to allow you, or what was it?
I definitely think that you guys just being so supportive, and this is one thing that I will always thank my parents for, and I don't know if it's because of our age difference, because it isn't so big. I've never felt scared to tell you guys when I wanted to do something, and even when we didn't agree, I felt like they at least heard me out, and then we reached like a common thing. And even like there were some times where we didn't reach a common ground, and I still went for it without feeling like my parents were gonna hate me forever.
But here's the secret to that.
Oh gosh.
Here's the secret to that. Because I remember being young, and when I had a problem or I did something, I used to go to my parents and they'd be like, ¿Qué hiciste? Pues, ¿por qué no piensas con la cabeza? And they'd, the way they reacted was just scary. So what did that, then any other time when I did something, I had to hide it. I'd be like, oh shit, I can't tell my mom and my dad because last time they did this, and I got smacked or whatever it was.
You got smacked?
So yeah. So I always grew up remembering that, and every time my child comes to me with a situation, this is my thought process. My thought process is, listen, be slow to anger. That's very important. So I could be mad inside my head, but I can't show her that. She needs to know that every time there's a situation, she can come to me, and no matter what, she and, all my kids know that, dad and I, we got their back. So yes, we'll have a conversation about it if it's something that they did bad, but you can't do that. When your kids come to you, you have to be open, you have to listen to them. And at least for me, and I know for Ben in many occasions, it's like, when you told your parents you did something, it was like, the screaming, the yelling, and sometimes even like the verbal abuse. So just, when your kids come to you with a problem or a situation, try to work it out, be slow to anger. That's very important. Sometimes when I get the text like, hey mom, guess what?
That's from me.
Yes. And in my head, or she'll be like, OMG mom, guess what happened? And in my head, I'm like, esta niña ya la regó. But no, but you know what?
There's a funny story with that. One of the very first times I ever really realized that you guys had my back was, I believe it was like my sophomore year of college. I got into some trouble, and I put off this issue for like a month, and I was scared out of my mind, and like I couldn't sleep at night. It was just a heavy weight on my shoulder. And I will never forget, I drove all the way to my mom's work, and we had lunch together. And she knows that something's up because my mom knows me. She can read me. I cannot lie to her. I mean, I've tried, and sometimes I get away with it, but I really, like, when it's serious stuff, I can't lie to her. And I remember we were sitting at a Firehouse Subs, and I'm eating my sandwich, and she just asked like, hey, like, what's going on? And like immediately tears start running down my face. So of course she's all scared and worried and like, what the hell? Like, what happened? And I finally told her, like, I got into some trouble and I need help. And this was the best reaction ever. She sat there, she listened to me, she laughed and was like, that's it? Like, you're crying over this, you're making a big deal over this. And it was something that was a big deal, but she knew that it was something that could get fixed. And literally, like, she's just like, all right, well, now call your dad, let him know. Because I think that's one thing that's super important also, is that they have such good communication, and that we don't, we try not to, not communicate with each other. And she's just like, call your dad and it'll be okay.
It is not okay. Let me tell you, because my parents used to do this all the time. My mom would be like, I'd be like, hey, mom, no le digas a mi papá, okay? Please, mom, no le digas. No le digas que hablaron de la escuela. No le vayas a decir, please. Okay, pues, pero ya no lo hagas. Ya pórtate bien.
That shit don't fly
That
here.
doesn't fly here, okay?
No.
Because God forbid something happened and then my husband will be like, tú andabas de pasalona? I don't think so. That's not going to be me. Whatever it is, if the kids come to me first, which is, I would say about
90% of the time.
90% of the time.
Well, until recently. We like dad a little more right now.
Yeah.
Okay, not like we like
No.
him more, but the thing
No,
is
I understand. But
my
you know
dad's
what?
a little bit more lenient right now.
Yeah, right now he's a little bit more, you know, we all go through stages, but yeah, no, yo no le tapo nada.
No, definitely.
Benjamin is gonna know.
We don't keep secrets or anything like that. Keep it honest. Right now, it's weird because when I was a teenager, me and my mom, like 13, I would hide in the garage with my dad, like all the time, not knowing, you know, just to get away from my mom. Then me and my mom became bestest friends in the whole wide world, and we still are.
Hi, Christy.
I definitely my mom is my best friend. You know, I've had best friends in high school and all that stuff, but nobody compares to my mama.
My best friend from high school's on.
And I think that's one thing that girls should really, like, really, if you have a good relationship with your mom, or if you have your mom in your life, definitely try and, like, have her be your go-to person, because I can guarantee you nobody in this world is gonna love you as much as your mom. As far as, like, you know, you can go out drinking with your girlfriends, and if shit gets real, they'll leave your ass there. And, you know, if you go out drinking with your mom and you're dying from alcohol poisoning, she's not gonna leave you there. She's gonna sleep with you in your bed. And
Yeah, and your mom and her friends are gonna drag you in the house and put you in bed and put your pajamas on.
oh,
But we
yeah.
won't clean your throw up for
They
sure.
won't. And that's why I stopped drinking. Well, sort of. So yeah, definitely your parents are gonna be your best friends, even when it seems like they're not. Just know that every problem has a solution.
Yes, absolutely.
There's one thing that I learned from them is there's absolutely nothing in this world you could do that would make them, like, hate you. You know, like, they will be mad, they will be pissed off, and, you know, they're gonna yell maybe and say some things, but at the end of the day, your mama gave birth to you. You know, your dad helped make you. So you're a piece of them. They're not gonna leave you out on the street.
No, we're not gonna turn your back on.
Exactly.
Parents don't turn their back on their kids.
My dad scares me sometimes and says he will, but he's a big softie. Also, let me know, either, you know, send me a message or drop a comment on any other topics you'd like to see us discuss. Thanks, Mama, for doing this with me. Catch us next week.
En vivo desde Los Pinos.